There's a place for us.
My name is William Desmond. My friends know me as Des. I guess I'm known in the music business here in the Boston area in Cambridge. I created a rehearsal complex business over 30 years ago, which is still active and going. Officially, it's the Sound Museum Rehearsal Complex.
Cool name.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, what's the story behind that?
I just thought, because when you walk through the hallways of a rehearsal facility, you have different, like paintings, you have different sounds, different bands, everything's different. And when you walk down, it's like the mouth of a dragon opening up, you can hear it within in the hallways, sometimes all at once. It's
So you're a musician and a businessman
mm-hmm.
and a father.
Yeah, I have 3 kids. And 2 of them are musicians. My wife is a musician. I used to live here in Cambridge, on Inman Street. Yeah, over 30 years ago, with a small loan from the SBA, I started my rehearsal business. And I did that so that I could have a place for my own band. And I started in the South End. And that was before the area was gentrified. Okay, it was a rough area. Over 30 years ago in the South End. It wasn't like it is today. And from there I was able to go in and build studios, and then I would rent them for profit. And I had a place of my own for my own band and my own recording studio. We had a homemade recording studio, maybe a couple steps up from homemade. But looking back on it, we were very proud of it at the time. We had a recording studio in one of the buildings called White Room. The White Room, named after a Cream song. And it was, we were constructing the thing, and we had white rugs all through it. We had 5 locations at different parts. We had in the South End. We have 2 over in Brighton that still exists. We had one next to Berklee College of Music in the basement over there. Berklee took that one over. They acquired the building, and they're redoing it. They're keeping the rehearsal spaces in there, which is good for the guy, the guys and gals of Berklee.
Yes.
There was no parking down at the Boylston building, but the people lived right in the area, so it worked.
Right.
So my very first building got taken by the Big Dig.
Okay.
Right, and that's how I ended up in Brighton. They had to relocate me.
All right, so which ones are left?
North Beacon Street, Hitchbourne, and we have one down in the it's in the South End, but it's on the West Roxbury side, and all those industrial buildings down there.
Yeah. So the one on North Beacon Street, my son actually rehearses.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well.
Yeah, and that's a huge building.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it's a huge.
It is. We got featured on Chronicle for that building a few years ago. It's just like I've been there so long. So the lease, we've got some time left on the lease too, luckily, because there's a lot of development there, but we're secure for some time.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, because a similar thing probably could happen like at EMF, but some of the buildings, 4 of the buildings that I had when I first started have all gone to development, EMF was, I found that building, and it was so cheap because the building was really in bad shape.
Yeah.
Okay. I became friends with the owner, Mr. Robert Katz. He was the head of the trust there, and we're still friends. And we sort of pieced it together. The roof leaked, it needed this, it needed that. I improved the sprinkler system. We had inspectors coming over every other day, it seemed, when we first started. So it took us almost 3 years to get that started. And I was there personally for 11 years. So
When you're doing this, so you're on a lease, was that owner helping you pay for this, or were you absorbing all the costs?
I was absorbing most of the costs because we took it as is, but we had developed a relationship where they really needed an anchor tenant at that time.
Okay.
In over the 10 years, that I was active there. It's been there for 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was there for just I've been out of there for over a year, so I was there for about 11, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know the exact time, but when it got bought, then I moved on.
Yeah. So actually, you didn't own that building. I mean,
I don't own any of the
you
buildings.
didn't have any control of that buy and sell, purchase and sell stuff that just happened.
No, I
Which
did
is
not.
what I really didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know that in all this hustle and bustle.
No. I just leased the building. So I mean
very important point. I feel like I was under the assumption you.
Boy, I wish I did own it.
Yes. Right.
You know, because
I
probably, yeah, I know they would have, but I mean, if I owned it, I might want to sell it too. I mean, especially with the kind of money. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Mr. Katz was, I think he just had a birthday recently, and he's like 85 years old. I mean, it was time for that family. They owned it since 1936. Oh my gosh. EMF stand for electric motor frequencies. It was time for them to sell it, you know. So, buying and selling property is, it's capitalism. It's 101. It's, you can't begrudge people doing that.
No, you can't. It's just, unfortunately, there always are casualties, and we all have to move on. But it's sad and hurtful. Do you own any of the buildings?
No.
Okay.
No, I lease them.
Okay. So that means this story may play out somewhere.
This story's already played out for me 4 times.
Yeah. Okay.
But, you know what I mean? Yeah. It is, and there are casualties to it. Anybody that's renting a building, it always comes to an end at some point. So you ride it as long as you can, and I did that at the EMF building, and again, I was able to make money there, and everybody was paying on an average $400 to $500 for a studio. And they'd share it. Right. I mean, that's affordable. I don't have any animosity towards, somebody buying a building, and doing what they want with it. Once they buy it, it's theirs. Yeah. Now, if they want to donate it to the city for arts or whatever, that's their prerogative. But what I think is really important here, and what became important about the EMF building is this, okay? It's the last hurrah. It is. There's nothing else affordable unless somebody steps up and donates or subsidizes, the city or whoever, or a private owner subsidizes something that's in that $400 to $500 a month.
How many guys like you have buildings of rehearsal spaces for musicians?
I don't know. I think there's quite a few around now.
There are?
But in locations like, Central Square or in Cambridge generally speaking,
more on the outskirts.
Yeah. Okay. People going outside, looking at stuff, and it's not an easy business because you're dealing with artists and musicians. They don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're not going to get rich doing band spaces.
Tell me about being.
But you can make money. But you're not going to get, you're not going to be driving a Rolls Royce. You know.
Yeah. Tell me about managing
It's a pain in the neck. You have all these sensitive geniuses running around. I mean, there's no easy money. Yeah. There's no easy money with this. Yeah. It's a lot of work. You have to like being in the scene and being a part of it. Over the years, it became a community. And this is where we have to think about it now, because it's very important to have a community of, artists on this level in any city. And Cambridge, has the illusion that they're there. They are there in EMF. So Cambridge will lose this thing, and it's become so important. We can find buildings out, Malden and further out. Nobody wants that. They want to be in Cambridge.
There were several different types of art happening in the EMF building. It wasn't just bands playing.
That's right.
There was the recording studio, the radio.
There's Alvin Long, who actually, other people have claimed that they managed the building. No, Alvin Long worked for me. He co-managed the building for me. He was the one on the ground. Okay. He's the one everybody loved over there. Okay, and he owned New Alliance. Okay. Well, there's New Alliance East with Nick, and he does mastering. He does amazing work, and they do it in tandem. And the funny thing about those guys, in a big chunk of the people there, they lost their building over at Fenway. They were losing their building for development. Fenway Park is right here. Yeah. Okay? In the meantime, I found this building, and I walked over and banged on the door. I said, Alvin, I'm going to bring the whole group of you over to Cambridge. After all the hand-wringing and everything else, The same old stuff happens.
So they're still a functioning business, so they are going to have to move somewhere, right? New
Yeah,
Orleans?
I've been trying to find them a space over in Brighton, but I'm jammed over there. I took some of the bands from EMF that don't want to go anywhere else, but with me, and that made me feel good.
Yeah.
We were able to get some drummers in. I'm trying to, I mean, these guys feel like my family over here, But listen, Cambridge, wake up. Do it. If you want my help, that's fine. Either way, just do it. Find a building and put people in it so that they can afford to stay in Cambridge. Why would we get a building, especially for the artists and the musicians when we have homeless people needing shelters? I mean, there's a lot of complications to it.
Yeah.
The importance of the EMF thing, what it became as a community for Cambridge is, you can't replace it. I'm not out of the game yet by any means.
Okay.
I mean, I've been doing this, I started when I was in my 20s. I'm in my 60s. Been doing it a long time. I'm doing my best. I mean, my shoulders are heavy. I'm a prop guy.
All right, let's get.
How do you like this?
Let's get rock and roll.
Hey, man, does that change me?
Oh, now I'm intimidated.
I think really the city, if they can, and there's a lot of complications, if the city can step up and do something for the artists and musicians in Cambridge, because they are part of the fabric. The clubs, think of the Middle East, Joseph and Nabil. Oh my, I mean, all of my bands from all the different buildings play there all the time, and EMF is right in there, and they just wheel it down the street. So, maybe there's a building on the outskirts, hopefully closer, to this scene and here, because this is really where it should be. With real estate prices the way they are, I'm not real hopeful, unfortunately. You asked me earlier. I'm not real hopeful that there's going to be something found, unless someone steps up and makes a donation or the city subsidizes it. I don't know how it could. Not at the prices that I was charging for rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't. You know what? It was an honor, a pleasure.
Oh.
I mean, honestly, you're the man. I feel, you know what? As long as you're around, we'll be okay in some way or another. So.
All right. Well, listen. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Good luck, Cambridge, with this. Okay. This stands for Electric Music Family, and that's exactly what it is. Electric Music Family. That's exactly what the community at EMF has become.